And you'll notice our second day in a row now with our 1 for our Storm Tracker Severe Threat Index, basically because we still have the potential for strong to severe storms later on this afternoon, evening. Before that, it's the rain. And even during that time frame, it's going to be rain as well. Flood threat was always going to be the biggest issue today, yesterday, and even going into tomorrow as well. In fact, rainfall amounts in just the last 24 hours, as you can see behind me, have been great in some areas, not so much in others. So let's go ahead and take that map full, and you can tell that, yeah, I mean, down our southern counties, a few hundredths of an inch. Some areas didn't get a drop, like Barberville and Knox County. Same thing in Jackson County, McKee, showing up at double zeros. But then you get up towards the 64 corridor. Now we're talking about 1, 2, 3 inches of rain almost here in Lexington. But look up at Maysville. Mason County, one of the hardest hit yesterday, and they had over 5.5 inches of rainfall. Yeah, so talk about an absolutely, I mean, just a deluge as those storms are rolling through. Some areas hitting that 5-inch mark, and that's all the way from basically Mason County down into a little bit of Nicholas County. But Robertson kind of right in the mix with it, so that's why we do have a flood warning in those locations. Others are just sitting with flood advisories. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this is what we have right now in the current radar. Obviously a big linear line that's stretching all the way throughout the midsection of the state, kind of riding along the 64 corridor. Bringing some heavy rain to some areas. No lightning strikes, at least not cloud to ground. There could be some inside of the cloud, but I think for the most part, these are all just heavy showers. Now you zoom out, you can still see the remnants of what used to be Gordon, the big low kind of sitting up in the Ohio River, big warm front stretched out ahead of it, cold front right behind it. And that's the cold front that's actually going to do its job. Beginning of the work week, it's going to feel like fall, our first, well, I guess I should say second big fall air mass moving through. But until we get to that point, we're still talking more rain and unfortunately more strong thunderstorms coming in this afternoon. The difference being is the bulk of the severe weather stayed well to our west yesterday. Now it's basically going to be a bullseye right around the eastern counties. And I'll show you basically why that's happening. It's because once the cold front gets to these areas, that's when we're kind of still in the maximum daytime heating of that portion. So it kind of lines up just perfectly to where if you're east of 75, now you have the better chance for those strong to severe thunderstorms. But that being said, they still can pop up anywhere, so you should be at least keeping track with the Max Track Live Doppler radar. As far as what we have as rainfall amounts go, not impressive to say the least, but when you add 1 to 2, even 3 inches of rainfall to what we've already had, that's where flooding scenarios are going to be an issue. So we do have flash flood watch stretching all the way from Louisville to Pikeville and all the counties in between. We do have some flood advisories. One just went into effect for Clark down towards northern Garrett, that little stretch right there. And then we also have some for Pendleton County, but that flood warning is really the big issue, stretching from Lewis County down towards Robertson. And here's the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. Notice once again that bullseye is kind of shifted towards the east, but it still covers some of our western bluegrass counties and southern counties as well. So just keep that in mind. We do still have the same threats: lightning, flooding, and damaging wind. Everything else is still kind of small, but we do still have that chance for some brief spin-up tornadoes, just like what we had yesterday. At least we had the warnings issued, nothing confirmed yet at this time in our forecast region. As far as what we're going to be seeing with the pattern change, big upper level low moves out, which used to be Gordon. Now high pressure sets in, and that will bring in a change in the forecast that you're going to notice on the 8-day. Look at those temperatures. Low 70s by Monday. We'll be in the mid 70s on Tuesday, so definitely a fall-like air mass in place. We do warm up back to summer-like conditions as we get to the end of the work week. More news after the break.